Like I told you earlier, Chris Neimeth will be joining us all the way from United States this afternoon as he wants to speak more on the game of curling. I know many of us might be interested in this new sport. Yes, what it entails, how to join, how to play it, and everything. We will be hearing from him. But before we go into that interview, let's enjoy the special report. The special report on the game of curling as packaged by Adewale Tijani and presented by Boluaji Ogumola. We'll be right back.
Originated from Scotland. It is a game characterized by a skillful throw of rock-like objects to a target.
Curling, the game with the ice, and the rocks, and the sweeping, and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake and a coin flip to determine who goes first. Then, 2 teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. The target? A 12-foot house that looks like a bullseye, just under 150 feet away. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds, called ends, until one team is victorious. It's just that simple.
Surprisingly, unknown to billions of sport lovers around the world, including Nigeria, curling is played by Nigerians and in Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria has been a member of World Curling Federation since 2018. She is the first and the only African country presently playing the ice sport. According to the exponent and propagator of curling in Nigeria, Mr. Daniel Damola, the body he founded and presides, Nigerian Curling Federation, has been striving to make the sport grow in the country.
Taking it to the grassroots. We've been doing that and we continue to do that all the time. Last year, we spent bulk of our time, organizing clinicals across the country whereby youths, they were all selected through this process. And also last year, we had clinicals for secondary schools across the country as well, whereby some youths were selected as well to represent the country, whereby we are supposed to take them to Canada, Italy, Turkey, and the US, and also South Korea for training. But because of the COVID issue, we couldn't actualize that goal. But in general, we've done so well in trying to, groom them from the home front.
Mr. Damola, who hails from Ondo State, but lives in Paderborn, Germany, disclosed while featuring on PCOS TV sport programs that this federation is building Africa's first ever dedicated curling facility in Calabar, Cross River State, in the southern part of Nigeria. He explained that the construction of the curling facility called Ice Ring is in its early stage and could be concluded by December 2021. The Ondo State-born president of Nigerian Curling Federation explained why Calabar was chosen to house the curling facility.
Traditionally, ice is meant for a cold region. There are 2 locations we scouted for, Port Harcourt and Cross River. But the Port Harcourt terrain wouldn't suit the kind of facility that will enable the ice to remain so when playing. So the Calabar region was the only weather we've studied to see that, okay, this is going to fit into our plan. That's why we chose Calabar. Secondly as well, presently in the country, you see how things are going concerning the issue of COVID-19. Yes, nobody has control over it, but the state was able to manage it. That shows the uniqueness of that state. Then the third plan was the security and then the tourism aspect. We all know that Cross River is the capital tourism of Nigeria. So that is the point 3, again, making Cross River, Calabar, the choice of destination for curling facility in Nigeria.
The project will, upon completion, have 2 ice facilities, one for curling and the other will be for ice sports, in addition to a bar and conference hall. Aside promoting the new game of curling in Nigeria, the Nigerian Curling Federation, with about 55 professionals and nearly 900 registered curlers, has also been ensuring the presence of Nigerian curlers at the international level. In 2019, 2 Nigerian curlers made history as the first African curlers to feature and win a match at a World Championship in Norway. The Nigerian representatives, Tijani Cole and his European wife, Susanna Cole, beat their counterparts from France. However, Mr. Daniel Damola and his crew are not relenting. A contingent of Nigerian curlers is expected to compete at an international contest in Japan later in the year.
And I think we have the first home-based female team that will be representing Nigeria in this year's championship in faraway Wakanai in Japan. If the COVID issue is down, we have 4 home-based team female that we've selected for this trip to represent their motherland as well. And if you permit me, I could also roll out few of their names. We have Ibizo Wamat, we have Anobu Amarachi, we have Deborah Alemeto, and we also have Buhari Alimat. So those are the people we've picked from the home front to mix with the female professional to play.
Mr. Daniel Damola further hinted that the new game will be launched in Oyo State and other southwestern Nigerian states immediately after the presently rampaging COVID-19 pandemic is abated. It is hoped that the addition of calling into Nigeria's Legion of Sports will empower more Nigerian youths, solve unemployment problems, and bring more laurels and sporting glories to Nigeria. This special report on the new game of calling is put together by Adewale Tijani and presented by Boluwaji Ogumola.
All right, the report was put together by Adewale Tijani, and of course, it was voiced by Boluwaji Ogumola. And of course, this takes us into the interview session with Chris Neimeth, all the way from United States of America. He's a member of the Nigerian coiling team, and of course, he'll be putting us in a know on more benefits of this game, and of course, what Nigerians stand to gain when they engage in this kind of sport. So, we'll be bringing on Chris Neimeth on the program this afternoon. Chris, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, how's the coronavirus situation over there? I believe it's gradually winding down.
Yeah, it's in the U.S. It's been pretty rough the last few months, but luckily it's not as bad where I live because it's a little more rural.
All right, so Chris, let's kick it off straight. Why are you into the game of coiling, into this kind of sports, out of every sport we have world over?
Yeah, definitely. So I used to play a lot of football growing up, and I played in high school, but I unfortunately hurt my knee pretty badly. So my career was kind of brought to a standstill a little bit. But luckily I kind of found the game of curling through some different charity tournaments that they have in my area. And I kind of just fell in love with the game because really it's a game that can be played by everyone. And I think that that's really special and it's a lot of fun. So.
All right, so are you telling us that a game of coiling is less risky than football?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the big appeals for curling for a lot of people is that it can really be done by everyone. And regardless if you have previous injuries from other sports, it really suits and can become adaptable for people regardless of their kind of physical condition, which I think is really great and special about the game.
All right, aside that, what other benefits do we stand to gain if we engage in this kind of sports?
Yeah, definitely. So I think kind of good analogy people have given is called curling chess on ice, because it's really a mental game and it's all about strategy. And I think that that's really good for everyone. And I think it forces a lot of analytical thinking, which is obviously really important for people to kind of take up throughout their lives. And I think that learning how to think in a strategic way can be really beneficial both in the game and kind of in people's general lives, which is great.
All right, so in the course of you playing the sports, what are the challenges you have faced?
Yeah, definitely. So I go to school in California where curling isn't quite as big as where I'm from. So obviously practicing has been a little rough for me, and I have had to get a little creative with the different ways that I've been practicing the game and kind of keeping sharp with everything. And kind of as a part of that, me and some friends at my university started making like curling training tools that we plan to bring to Nigeria in the near future to help people more affordably practice the game and really get experience with it and really start to excel.
All right, so this is a funny one. You are an American, but you are a member of the Nigerian curling team. Why did you choose to play this sport for Nigeria and not your country of birth, United States of America? Why?
Yeah, so my dad was born in Nigeria and my grandfather worked there for almost 60 years. So my whole family's really been involved in Nigeria and has a lot of love for the Nigerian people and has really had like a big presence in the country and been trying to be involved and kind of do good things wherever we can. So kind of growing up, Nigeria was always a big part of my life. And so it was really an honor when I was given the opportunity to represent Nigeria in a sport that I love and to also represent a country that I'm proud to represent and a people that my family have a lot of love for.
All right, so what do Nigerians stand to benefit with the introduction of this sport into the country?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing that people really stand to benefit is that it's a great way for people of all ages and all abilities to come together and have fun and stay active and all of that good stuff and really keep your core strong, which is a big part of curling, and it's really good for people's general health. So I think that coupled with the analytical thinking that it forces, it can be really advantageous for people to take up. And because they can continue it throughout really their whole lives, it's kind of a great opportunity to build those skills throughout your entire life.
All right, so based on the introduction of the sports into the country now, what's been the acceptance rate so far?
Yeah, definitely. So last year I went to Lagos and Abuja a few times to put on some clinics, especially for some secondary school students. And it was really exciting to see how passionate and excited people were about the game. And I think people are really taking to it and really enjoying it. And I think that really is shown by the fact that we started off these clinics really trying to work with secondary school students, and people who were just passing by decided to jump in and had a lot of fun and are actually some of the registered curlers we have in the Federation today. And I think that it's great to see that people are just seeing the game, being interested and taking part and really taking initiative to get good at the game and practice.
All right, so do you see yourself winning medals for Nigeria in the nearest future in this sport?
Yeah,
For instance,
I think Nigeria has a
Olympics.
lot of, I think Nigeria has a lot of potential in the sport just because it's a game that's really dominated by a couple very small countries in the world that don't really see a lot of success in other sports. And I think that Nigeria, with its strong legacy of athletic talent, really has a unique opportunity to take advantage of the space since it's still a growing sport and really get in there early, get really talented people and involved in the game. And I think Nigeria will be able to see a lot of success because of that, because of just how many great athletes they have in the country.
All right, so we have Nigerians as the president of the federation. The captain of the team is a Nigerian. What's your relationship like with them? Do you guys bond easily? You being an American, they being Nigerians.
Yeah, definitely. I think we all get along really well. And I think that I can call everyone in the Federation my friend, which is really great.
Oh, good.
But I think that, even though I was not born in Nigeria, Nigeria has been a big part of my life, and kind of the culture and being involved in the country has always been a part of my life, and it's always been something I've been excited about. And I think that it's that love for the people and its country that really was kind of a starting place for forming the friendship between me and the other people that are involved in the Federation.
All right, do you speak other languages besides English language?
Oh, I wish I did. My dad and my grandmother speak Igbo. I unfortunately don't know very much, but I would love to learn more. And I think that yeah, I kind of, after the COVID thing is over, hopefully I'll be able to go and kind of pick up more of it with my grandmother. And yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you will marry a Nigerian wife, so you become a full-blended Nigerian. All right, so tell us your future plans as we begin to wind up this interview session.
Oh, so yeah, definitely. I think I'll definitely try, and I'll be continuing to represent Nigeria and help out with the federation. And I think the thing I'm most excited about is really making curling more accessible for the curlers that are in Nigeria, especially the people that you've kind of flashed up on the screen and have taken part in the clinics. Really, my main goal is to help continue working on the training equipment I've been working on, and to really just make the game more accessible so that they can see the success that I know they can see, and eventually kind of come on and take the world stage by storm and really show a lot of success.
All right, on a final note, the game is known for being played in a cold region, but Nigeria is not totally a cold region, just some parts of the country. Now, a facility is being built in Calabar. Do you see the sports as a long-lasting one in the country, or just for the short term?
I definitely think it's something that will be accepted and loved in the country for a long time. I think that it's kind of the nature of the game is that people who learn about it, they really just fall in love with it just because of the strategy and the community that's kind of built into the sport. And it's really just a lot of fun, and it's a great place for everyone to get together. And I think that that kind of experience of everyone coming together to have fun playing this game is something that really keeps people around. And I think that it's something that will only make the sport grow, both in Nigeria and around the world. I think we've really seen that in the last couple of years as more and more countries like Nigeria are getting involved in the game and really starting to succeed on the international stage with victories like Tajani and his wife had. It was really great to see them succeed because I think it's really illustrative of this long-lasting success that countries like Nigeria can have in the sport.
All right, before you go, I want to ask you this question. What's your view as regards eradication of racism in sports?
Yeah, definitely. I think that racism is a huge problem. I think not only in the sports world, but as we've seen in like the US and other countries like here, it's really a problem that's kind of ingrained in the system. And I think that we all need to make a better effort to kind of come together and overcome these challenges and really take a look at the systems and suit them better so that we can overcome kind of this very important issue.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your time with us on Weekend Sports this afternoon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
All right, okay, so just stay safe and have a wonderful time.
Thank you, you too.
All right, bye. All right, that was a bit with Chris Neimeth all the way from Vermont in the United States of America, sharing his thoughts as regards the introduction of curling sport into the country.